Hi there, everyone. I'm just out in the garden planting a few more of my starts that I had gotten ready to be planted out now. And I thought I might give you a little bit of a garden tour to kind of catch you up on what I've been doing while I've been AWOL. Sorry. It's just trying to get a lot done in between thunderstorms and rain showers that we've been having. So at some point I'll probably put a little bit of a clip in that I did when I did the sedums, and it'll show you where I came from and where I'm going. So I'm going to give you a bit of a garden tour today and catch you up. Off with what you saw me planting, which is my fennel. In this bed, at one time I started out as my herb garden, and over the years it's kind of faded from that. Everything has either died or been pulled out. The only thing that's the original is my chives down here. This is some garlic. And then I planted my fennel, and I'm going to plant a few more things in here. The one thing that keeps coming back is my Anise Hyssop. And I've got several plants of that I'll show you along the way. But even this right here is the hyssop where it seeds itself. And we have another storm rolling in, so I might have to make this really quick. That was my husband's feet. Wave hi, Bill. Kind of start down here real quickly where you saw me cleaning out the sedums. This is what they look like when they start getting a little bigger. More hyssop right there. This is the hostas that I referenced in the one video. That's going to be a roselle plant. And then my decorations, my hollyhock, my irises, and more of those plants that I told you that were coming up on that end of the garden that I don't remember what they are. And this is what it looks like from gardening. And I'll point you to the sky so you can see. We have a storm coming. More irises, my thrift store finds to making decorations. That is a bird bath. Still haven't gotten rid of the rose plant. More garlic. I'm going to have more garlic than I know what to do with this year. This end right here, that's elephant ear garlic, and then I'd have to look it up to find out exactly what this, but some are soft neck and some are hard neck, and there are about 6 different kinds in this bed plus the one over there. We have bee balm in the pot. with more hyssop. Potato bags. In these ones I have red potatoes, more hostas, white raspberry, my comfrey is coming up, and yes, I dealt with the strawberries. My naked ladies right here with the chives right next to it. Strawberries. Volunteer chives. My rhubarb. And over here, you see my volunteer cilantro starting to come up. My grapevine. Wow, thunder. More up-purposing of my bird baths and bird houses. I think I'm gonna have to go inside. That's coming in quick. Well, that was fun. We just had a quick rain shower, so I'm going to get back to doing the tour of the garden. Some things I wanted to touch on, though, is the comfrey here. The reason I have planted the comfrey is because I want to get some chickens, because in town we can have up to 6 hens. That's all we can have. We cannot have roosters. But I was wanting to use that as a forage for my chickens, just to supplement instead of having to buy grain all the time. Hyssop is an herb that's very good for tea. It's a very calming, kind of like calendula, or I'm sorry, chamomile. It's supposed to be a very calming tea to make, and it's actually pretty good. I made it in a rhubarb kind of thing that I made a couple years ago and added a little bit of that into it with some lavender. Oh my gosh, it tasted heavenly. I'll try to give you reasons why I'm growing what I'm growing. The grapes are Concord grapes, and they are seeded, and I've always loved grape juice. They're purple ones, so that's my plan for that. They did have a fungus a couple years ago, so I'm seeing if they're going to return. They came back last year and foliage was wonderful, so I'm hoping this year I'll get the grapes back again. So, moving on. The reason I'm doing bird baths in the garden is I read somewhere that some of the reasons that birds will come in and eat just a little bit of fruit off of, or a few bites off of your fruits, such as tomatoes and strawberries, is they're actually looking for hydration. So That is the thinking behind the bird baths. This is my strawberries, and I had planted some peas in here, but it looks like the squirrels have come through and gotten these. We shall see. Oop, there's one unburied. Oop, there's another one. Well, hopefully they'll come up. This is my one strawberry patch. And in there are also asparagus. These are purple passion asparagus, and those are Mary Washingtons. And that's all I have coming up right now. There were a few plants in there, but I cannot seem to grow asparagus very well. This is onions. We really like onions here. I'm trying something called an Alyssa Craig. Haven't had that one before. And that's down here. This is another kind to store, so hopefully I can get it to store a little bit longer. And down here on the end I have bunching onions. A hosta, I think it's going to get relocated eventually. That is an onion from last year that I must have missed, and I'm letting it go so it can reseed itself, or so I can get seeds off of it. And another hyssop plant. This here is a blueberry bush. It could be blue crop, or there's a Jersey one. I had 3 different varieties of blueberries, and being that this probably went in 5 or 6 years ago, I thought I could remember the name of them, and I don't. So it's one of 3 varieties. Blue crop was one, Jersey something was another one, and I do not remember the other. It's been a fairly hardy plant. It's my tallest one. I really should have pruned it, but I did not. And then back here behind me, more potato bags. These have Yukon Golds in them. I haven't had a whole lot of luck with my potato bags. The first year was my best year. And then I tried to get fancy and tried to amend the soils and whatnot. So I went back to just using potting soil from my local municipality to see if I can just grow them there. I don't know if you saw in the other videos, but right there I used to have a composter, and this was the compost that was in it. So from here to about here I have some more, or these are red potatoes in here, and then on the end here, from about where that little stick is to there, I was going to plant some more Yukon Golds. These are my beets that you saw me planting a few weeks ago. And just above them are some sweet peas, radishes, and more sweet peas. Why I'm tempting fate and bringing birds into my garden is for pest control. The Japanese beetles really like my grapevines. So that's why I have the 2 bird houses over there. This was a pansy that I planted last year, and it's coming up all on its own. This, I think, is going to be my cucumber trellis. I haven't planted the cucumbers here yet. And the reason I'm thinking cucumbers there is because underneath there, I have some lettuces. And I was thinking of planting some more, moving the frost cloth and the supports and doing some high density lettuce planting right here. Another one of my up-purposed bird baths. And then more blueberry bushes. That was a nasturtium. I also have hummingbird feeders. I've got 4 of them in here. One because I love hummingbirds and like to photograph them. And 2 for pollination. This has been my most prolific blueberry plant. I really wish I knew which variety this was, because I think I'd get a couple more of them. It has really big blueberries. And they're so juicy. This was a yard sale find, another bird bath, and it's just for pretty. I love pretty. Gooseberry, another blueberry plant. And then all along here, all through here is where I planted my carrot seeds. And I have carrots. I also have volunteer tomatoes, and I don't know what variety they are, but I have a lot of them. Because there's more right there. These are an Amish paste. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at my seeds from last year, but that's an Amish paste, I think, which would be a real good sauce tomato. And I have carrots coming up all along here. Although I think between the squirrels and the robins, this end isn't going to do so well. Another bird bath. And this is what I have been busy planting and trying to save. This is a lot of my cooler weather crops. There is cabbage, broccoli, kale, celery, onions, spinach, collards, mustard. All of that is in here. And even a little bit of parsley. The frost cloth is because after I planted a good portion of this, we turned around and had freezing weather. So that was my attempt, but most of it looks really good. This is a scarlet kale. Can't wait to try that in a smoothie. Collards, spinach, parsley, cabbage, celery. I've got about 3 different kinds of celery in my garden. I've not been able to grow that before. I haven't even been able to get it to germinate. But I did really good this year. And then I have that bed over there. I don't have anything in it yet. This bed here, I think I'm going to plant my summer squash in. I've got that germinating in there right now. I did a yellow zucchini and a darker zucchini and a scalloped squash. I'm going to also try some watermelon and some pumpkin, and that'll go here. Try not to make you sick by turning here. That walkway that I walked down a little bit ago is actually going to be another bed there that I'm going to plant some beans, some green beans for canning, and some cowpeas and some lima beans, which I'm not a fan of lima beans, but I've had them prepared in a way that I'd like to try that again. They were really good. So I'm planting those hopefully over there. And for the most part, this is my in-ground garden. I do have a little bit in the backyard that I've got pawpaw trees back there, and I'm going to plant some hostas out there. Another thing I wanted to show you, and let me turn the camera around here. This is my compost area, and I just turned that this morning. So hopefully this will get broken down in the next couple of weeks, and I will have compost to add to everything. And this was a very happy surprise. Right there is a raspberry bush that I planted last year and thought had died. And I don't know if it's just from the compost sitting there and it got enough nutrients that it was able to revive itself, but it came back. So that is a red raspberry bush. And this was a wood chip pile that the previous neighbors had from trimming the tree here. And I've got a bunch of baby maples in here that I really need to get out, because there's one right there from last year. Coming back around and here on my steps, when I thinned out my strawberry patch, I posted the plants on the Facebook marketplace here for the area and got rid of over 100 plants. And one of the people who did that, came and got them, brought some raspberry bushes for trade. And I need to get them in the ground. I think they'll go over with the other raspberry bush that I just showed you. I'm not sure what color these are, but I'm really, really excited. I love raspberries, and I would like to try some jam and things like that. And then I have one last thing to show you. This is my saffron. I've got 4 pots of it here. When my husband and I were celebrating an anniversary one year, we went to a place called Mineral Point, Wisconsin. I had been there previously, and I wanted to go back again because it has a very artistic flair there. Anyway, we stopped at a restaurant there, and they had a saffron chicken recipe that, oh my gosh, if you're a foodie, amazing. And I've always wanted to try and grow saffron, but never thought about it until this winter, or last summer, and then ordered the bulbs for it. They're actually a crocus, but they don't bloom in the spring. They bloom in the fall. So I'm in zone 5B. These are a perennial to zone 6. They can be overwintered with some care in zone 5. So I left them in the pots and then just put them in my garage with some straw over them in November or so, and I shouldn't have, because when I went in this spring to check them out, there were probably about 7 or 8 flowers that had actually bloomed, and I could have had saffron last year, but I missed out on that opportunity. So I am looking forward to this fall. This will die back here, sometime here in June or July. The foliage will die back, and then in August or September it'll start coming back, and then I'll get blooms through the fall and be able to harvest my saffron. I'm really excited. Thank you for joining me in my garden today. I really had a great time showing you what I've got going on here. If you have any questions or ideas, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.